All right. How y'all doing? This has got to be a take-home version of the Fight Back 2020 program here, and I trust that you are well. I do. We knew it was going to happen today. I mean, actually, we knew after the nomination of Amy Coney Barrett, it was a foregone conclusion that she would be confirmed and we knew the same way that we knew that the Affordable Care Act was going to pass. The other side just did not have the votes to stop it. You know, so all of this hand wringing and this breathless, this is an illegitimate process. All that is just that. Nothing. Ridiculous. Absolutely. It's politics. It's histrionics. It's politics at its very, very best. The frustration on the left is, and people like Chuck Schumer, is this: that when Obama was about to tap out as president, Republicans said, no, we're not going to vote on your Supreme Court justice pick. Opposite parties, something that had been done at that point 28 times. This is the 29th time. So it was completely expected. Obama knew it. He knew that the chances of getting a Supreme Court justice picked through as a lame duck president with a Republican Senate was damn near nothing. And the thing they were most upset about was that the Democrats have been running over Republicans, golly, for 20 years. Just running over them roughshod, making them do whatever the heck they want them to do. And for the first time in a long time, at the last year of the Obama administration, they stood up and said, no, finally. And boy, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi and the group are not going to let them forget it. It's politics. Yeah, you may not like it, but you knew it was coming. If you want to get a Supreme Court justice through, you better damn well win the Senate. If you don't win the Senate, you won't get it through. If you want to get affordable health care through, you better damn well win the Senate. If you want to get affordable health care repealed, you better damn well win the Senate. Y'all remember that? Does anybody remember that but me? You remember when the Republicans won the House and everybody was like, woo, baby. All these people had signed oaths to repeal the Affordable Care Act, and people were like, yeah, baby, Obamacare is done. Except there were people like me on Blog Talk Radio going, no, it isn't. As a matter of fact, I had a show that I said a couple things aren't going to happen. The Affordable Care Act is not going to be repealed. Well, because there was no way that Harry Reid was going to bring it up. There was no way in the world that Harry Reid was going to bring up one single bill that repealed the Affordable Care Act. That was never going to happen. Why? Politics. It was never going to freaking happen. And if it had happened, and if for some reason beyond explanation, it would have been, it would have been passed in the Senate, which I can't even imagine any situation where that might have happened. Barack Obama was not going to sign for the repealing of his signature piece of legislation. It was never going to happen. So this idea that some of these Republicans were all freaking juiced up, absolutely juiced up, when Republicans took over the House and you didn't take over the Senate, you didn't finish the job, that you thought things were going to be different. And this idea now that Democrats are all just laying on the floor like freaking two-year-olds. You know what the deal was? They know what the deal was. They knew that the president was going to be able to get his nominee through because his party was ascendant in the Senate. Period. It didn't matter. It doesn't matter that the Republicans don't run the House. It's not important. It's not important. Not in this particular instance. The Constitution says the Senate. The Senate gets to pick. And it's not, and let me help you. It's not advise and consent. It isn't a process where they work together. It is not advise and consent. It's just confirm or not confirm. It's not advise and consent. It's not where they work together and they find the right person. And it isn't. The president gets to nominate whoever the hell he wants to. He could nominate a one-legged duck. The Senate needs to pick up that nomination and either confirm the person or not. Confirm the duck or not. And they can choose to do that. In the case of President Obama's nominee, they chose not to. They could have gone through hearings. They could have. And just said no at the end, which is probably what they should have done. But they didn't even want to go through that. They didn't want to give the president a win out the door. Why? Politics. Not racism, politics. And some of y'all who don't get that, there's nothing there is absolutely zero I can do for you. Zero I can do for you. So now, when Amy Coney Barrett, who by all admission of everybody who knows anything about that kind of stuff says that she is a phenomenal nominee. Phenomenal. Top of her class. Not in the Joe Biden top of the class, bottom of the class way, but actually top of the class sort of way, is going to make has all the qualifications and is going to make a fabulous Supreme Court justice. When that's obvious, and now they're whining like a bunch of children, like it wasn't fair, it's not legitimate, the American people should be able to weigh in. Well, they did in 2016. Like Barack Obama said, like President Obama said, elections have consequences. And one of the biggest consequences of making sure that you get the White House is the chance that you may be able to nominate and get a Supreme Court justice on the court for 20, 25, maybe 30 years or longer. This court, at this point, will be called the Trump Court forever. 3 appointees confirmed in one term. I don't think anybody but George Washington has been able to get more than that onto the Supreme Court. I have to look, and some of y'all can look for me and find out if maybe FDR did in his 15 years or whatever, almost 15 years or whatever. I'm on the way home. My wife just texted me a picture of the president, and he is absolutely glowing. That he is a bright orange fellow. He is so happy. It's probably, look at that smile. It's probably, and I want to say this, it's probably the best thing that he's done in his entire presidency. I'm going to go out on a limb at this point, is that, and we don't know how these people are going to judge. We don't know how they're going to adjudicate. We don't know. For a long time, conservatives have been, quote, claiming John Roberts. Can't do that anymore. can you? You can't do that anymore. So, at this point, we can think and we can hope that Justice Barrett, is going to be somebody who is going to be a conservative voice on the court for a long time. Golly, I hope so. There's no way. I mean, we thought the very same thing about like John Roberts, appointed by George Bush. So, but there's no way to tell long term. We'll see though. Not everybody is super excited. You know, my friend Chris Hall was like, maybe we should pump the brakes on this. Maybe there are other people, better people out there. You know, but this train was rolling. And she was going to be confirmed. And these temper tantrums coming from Chuck Schumer and the rest are embarrassing, really. They should be embarrassed. And people who follow them, who think that they're the adults, you should be embarrassed for them. Send them an email, send them a tweet and tell them to stop. Tell them to grow up. Enough. It's the process. It's the law. Every single thing about this process is allowed, legal, constitutional. Everything. There wasn't one single bit of this process that was unconstitutional or not allowed or unheard of. Not one single bit of it. Not one. Not one. At the end of President Obama's term, when he was, quote, a lame duck, end quote, yes, did he have the right to nominate somebody? Most certainly he did. And he did. Yes, and some Republicans were going, well, he shouldn't nominate anybody before the election. And that was, and what we learned is that was dumbass too. That was incorrect. And fortunately, President Obama knew better and said, nope, I'll nominate somebody if I want to. Now, just because you nominate somebody doesn't mean they get through. Bork, plus many, many others over time, were nominated by presidents that didn't make the trip, didn't make it to confirmation. That's also part of the process. That's also part of the process. I think President Obama in 8 years, 2 Sotomayor and Elena Kagan, I don't know. I'll have to look it up when I get home. Was it Elena Kagan and Sotomayor? I know it was Sotomayor for sure. In 8 years, you're probably going to get a chance to do at least one. But in 4 years, 3? Wow. And I did read a tweet from someone on the left who was actually feigning anger at Justice Ginsburg, because the story is that she was asked to resign or retire, especially after she got sick, while President Obama was still president, and while they still had early on while they still had the Senate. He could have replaced her then. But she wouldn't do it. And she doesn't she doesn't have to. It would have been a politically advantageous move for Democrats had Ginsburg played along. But for whatever reason, she didn't have to play along, so she didn't. And when she finally passed away, Donald Trump happened to be president. And just like Justice Ginsburg said, when talking about lame duck or last year or election year appointees, you're president for the entire 4 years. Not just 3 years, but the entire 4 years. Right? As was Barack Obama. As is Donald Trump. So when we hear from the left and we hear from CNN and MSNBC and the rest of these pukes about, Mitch McConnell being a hypocrite and Republicans being hypocrites, and you know what? There's enough hypocrisy to spread around. They were the same people who were saying that the Senate needs to confirm, or at least hear, President Obama's nominee. The same people who were asking Trump not to nominate somebody. The same people who were asking Mitch McConnell not to hear them. Not to hear this nomination. So again, there's enough hypocrisy in politics to go around here. So these cries of hypocrisy, from Chuck Schumer, oh my God, I can't believe this, just president, like, God, I just can't believe this, this is terrible, like, what are we going to do? Our democracy is going away. You want to say, you know what, Chuck Schumer, you're a grown-ass man, and you know how this process works. You do. You know how this process works. You know what the laws are. You know what the rules are. You know what the danger of not having a majority in the Senate was. You knew. Because you have been on the other side where you had a majority. And you just ran roughshod over Republicans because you could. So you did. Sucks when the shoe was on the other foot. Absolutely sucks. It's party politics. It may or may not be the best thing for the country, but it's where we are. And it's where we've been for a very long time. So I don't want to hear any crying, any whining. There's no crying in politics. There's no crying. There's no whining. Take your butt whipping. It's late. Find your watering hole. Go ahead and find your watering hole. Get your overpriced bourbon from your bottle club. Drink one or two too many tonight. And go to bed. And go home and go to bed. Get up and do your damn job tomorrow. Just like the rest of us do. Just like everybody else out here. Just like everybody else out here. Just like the people you got all juiced up and jacked up. You know what they're going to do tomorrow? They're going to go to work. Some of them will go to work in schools. Some of them will go to work in factories. Some of them will go to work in retail establishments. Some of them will go to work in restaurants, cafes, dog pounds, funeral homes, pawn shops, car lots, auto repair, whatever. And tomorrow, they're scheduled for work. And they're going to go in and do their job. So Chuck Schumer and the rest of the Senate Democrats, that lost, and you lost, and you knew you were going to lose this. You knew from the beginning you were going to lose this. You knew that there was no way other than trying to intimidate or embarrass Republicans into backing off. You knew that was your only play. And yes, you're probably pretty upset, but you're not surprised that that play, which is the only play you had, didn't work. It was the only play you had. You had to try to intimidate or embarrass somehow Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham into not going forward. But I think they've both learned the lesson. If they listen to their constituency, they'll be okay. It took both of them a while to learn that, unfortunately. Which is why Lindsey Graham is in the battle of his political career when he didn't have to be. Because it took him a while to learn that if he just represented his constituency, he'd be okay. That they would back him. That they would make sure that he was in office as long as he was their representative. Or as long as he represented them. Mitch McConnell, same thing. Yes, they both have political targets on their back now from the left. Sure they do. But the damage is done. The damage is done. Amy Coney Barrett is the newest Supreme Court Justice of the United States of America. Congratulations to Justice Barrett and her family. We are looking forward to what she does on the court. We know we are hopeful that it is looking at the Constitution in an originalist way, and I'm excited about her pick. I'm excited about the future of the court and the future of the country with Judge Amy Coney Barrett on the bench. All right, we got to get out of here and make room for somebody else. Thank you ever so much for showing up to our midnight session. Thank you again. We are going to head out, and it's like a baby, we're going to make out like a baby and head out. My name is Willie Lawson. This is the take-home edition of Fight Back 2020. Till we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We will see you when we see you. Good night now.